You may have heard it too, claims swirling online, flashy thumbnails, viral posts screaming that the 1967 US quarter dollar is worth millions of dollars. Some even say it can make you a millionaire overnight if you're lucky enough to find one. But is that really true? What is its actual value? That's the mystery we're uncovering today, and trust me, the real worth might surprise you. Watch till the end to find out what your 1967 quarter could actually be worth. Let's begin with the basics. The 1967 United States quarter dollar is part of the Washington Quarter Series, which has been in production since 1932. But unlike most other years, 1967 was a unique time for American coinage. That's because the U.S. Mint was dealing with a major coin shortage during the 1960s, and they had to make some unusual decisions to keep up with the country's growing demand for change. One of the most noticeable changes. In 1965, the Mint removed all silver from quarters and switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition, and that change continued into 1967. So, if you're holding a 1967 quarter dollar, it's not made of silver. Instead, it's a layered sandwich of copper in the core and nickel on the outside, giving it that shiny silver-colored appearance but without the silver value. That fact alone often disappoints those who hope to discover a hidden silver fortune, but don't give up yet. Some of these coins are still worth much more than 25 cents. Now here's where things get even more interesting. In 1967, the U.S. Mint was under pressure, not just to produce more coins, but also to stop the public from hoarding them. People were stashing coins with silver content, thinking they'd rise in value. So to prevent this behavior, the Mint made a bold decision. They removed mint marks from all coins in 1965, 1966, and 1967. That means your 1967 quarter won't have a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. All 1967 quarters appear as if they were made in Philadelphia, even though that might not be the case. Confusing? Definitely. But also important, because that makes it impossible to know where your coin was minted just by looking at it. Let's talk numbers. The U.S. Mint struck a massive over 1.5 billion quarter dollars in 1967. To be exact, 1,524,031,848 quarters were produced that year. That makes it one of the most common quarters of all time, and certainly not rare in terms of mintage. But if it's so common, then why are some collectors still chasing it? Why do some coins from 1967 sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars? The secret lies in the condition, minting errors, and special strikes. Let's start with condition. If you've got a 1967 quarter that looks dull, scratched, or worn, chances are it's only worth face value, 25 cents. But if your coin is in mint state, meaning it looks practically brand new and has never circulated, it might be worth more. Coins graded MS-65 or higher can fetch anywhere between $5 to $25, depending on demand and the market. Go a step further and find one graded MS-67 or above, and now you're looking at $100 to $300 or more, especially if it has strong details and no major flaws. But the real stars of the 1967 quarter dollar world are those with errors and special varieties. One example: double die errors. These happen when the coin is struck more than once slightly off-center, creating a noticeable doubling effect, often on the date, lettering, or even Washington's profile. These coins are incredibly rare for 1967, but not impossible to find. If you happen to spot a double-die 1967 quarter, especially one in good condition, it could be worth hundreds or thousands. Another rarity: off-center strikes and clipped planchets. Imagine a quarter that's been struck with part of the design missing or a chunk of the coin cut off due to a minting mistake. These quirky-looking errors are favorites among collectors, and depending on how dramatic the error is, the value can range from $50 to over $500. Then we have the true prize of them all, the Special Mint Set, SMS, coins. You see, because the U.S. Mint didn't produce proof sets for collectors from 1965 to 1967, they released something else: Special Mint Sets. These were meant to fill the gap and were struck with better-than-circulation quality but not quite as polished as proofs. SMS coins were only sold in sets and weren't meant for circulation, making them better preserved than most. Now, here's where it gets thrilling. Some 1967 SMS quarters have what's called a cameo or deep cameo finish. That's when the coin features a frosted image and shiny, mirror-like background. These are extremely attractive to collectors, and if your 1967 SMS quarter shows this effect and is in great shape, it can be worth $100 to $1,000, sometimes more if professionally graded by services like PCGS or NGC. And then, there's the ultra-rare full-strike SMS quarter in MS-68 condition. These coins are the holy grail of the 1967 quarter world. In auctions, such coins have sold for over $3,800. One of the highest recorded sales was a PCGS-graded MS-68 Plus SMS quarter that sold for $4,465. Yes, a 25-cent coin, selling for nearly $5,000. So how do you know if your 1967 quarter is special? First, check the condition. If it looks flawless, with no scratches, nicks, or dull spots, it's worth taking a closer look. Use a magnifying glass to examine details like the date and lettering. Look for any doubling, unusual shapes, or missing elements. Second, weigh the coin. A standard 1967 quarter should weigh around 5.67 grams. If your coin weighs significantly more or less, it might be struck on the wrong planchet, a rare and valuable error. Third, if you suspect you have a special strike or error, don't clean your coin. Cleaning can reduce its value dramatically. Instead, consider sending it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC to get a professional opinion. It's fascinating how a coin minted in such large quantities, over 1.5 billion, could still carry such value and mystery. That's the magic of coin collecting. Even the most ordinary-looking change in your pocket could be hiding a secret worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. But remember, most 1967 quarters you'll find in circulation are worth just face value, especially if they're worn. So don't get your hopes up too fast. Still, that doesn't mean you should ignore them. Because once in a while, someone finds a rare error, a pristine SMS coin, or a once-in-a-decade 68 example, and that's when a simple 25-cent coin turns into a real treasure. So, before you toss that old quarter into the vending machine or drop it into a jar, take a closer look. Check for oddities, inspect the surfaces, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next lucky collector to uncover something extraordinary. And if you've got a 1967 quarter dollar sitting at home right now, don't move a muscle. Go find it after this video, study it closely, and compare it with what we've discussed. You never know what could be hiding right under your nose.